This is our Green Girl Studios Magic Hour Sunday edition. Hello, hello. Hello, my friends. Hello, Liz. Hello, Cecilia. Today, I have the fixins out to show how I like to use those teeny little diamonds I showed on Wednesday. So I have a few necklaces where I like to use small gemstones, like kind of like sugar sprinkles. And so I have this necklace here. Let's see. This is a classic that I like to do. See how I add the little briolets and little extra sparkly bits? Keeps focusing on me. There. Like, okay, I'll have to peek through my hand to show it. See how I have those woven in through the chain and through, stop swinging, yo. There you go. Anyway, that's what I'm going to show you how to do. Well, with diamonds. This is briolets and some rondelles. I think there's a couple rondelles. But it'll be good. We'll see. And I don't just add them to chain. You can add it to little places like earrings. Actually, I think I have earring fixins. I just realized. I was like, where's those earring fixins? You could probably imagine that I actually did not get to clean my desk off. And it is just as heaped full of goodies as it was last week, if not more. There might actually be more stuff on this table than there was 3 days ago. I don't know if anybody else is like that. Well, like, I like it. I like, in my mind, I think I'm a minimalist. Like, I look at these magazines and I love the way open spaces.
You want to be a minimalist.
I want to. And you know what? When we go to Airbnbs, like when we were in Tucson, we stayed in a condo. And it was pretty nice. It was easy to get my work done because there were no distractions. There were none of my books. There were none of my things that, if you look down, there's like so many things. Like a few minutes ago, I found that I previously thought I lost it, but I found a piece of Libyan desert glass that I bought in Tucson many years ago, and then one that I got when I traveled to Amsterdam a long time ago to meet with, what was I doing there? I was doing something there. But anyway, I met this hippie that had these, like, I first heard it. This is one piece of Libyan desert glass. And Libyan desert glass is a tektite, which is a stone that's formed when a meteor hits the earth. So for this particular color, you can kind of see it has these little pit marks in it. What happens is the meteor hits, and wherever it hits, like in this case, Libya, that's the color of the sand. And so it flash fries like lightning bolt, and that's what it makes. And it's pretty cool because in different places it's different colors. Like the Czech Republic, Moldavia. They have Moldavite, and that color. That's a sweet color. Yeah, I thought I had a piece over there, but maybe it's kind of like this color. I don't know if you can see it. This is a piece of Roman glass, but it's like that olivine shade. And that is specific to that area. So if someone says, oh, this is Moldavite, and it's kind of a weird, like peridot color, it's not Moldavite. Moldavite is a very distinct color. Very distinct. So you can always tell it. Oh, thanks, Pat. She says, love the creek pictures. Yeah, I've been getting out there. It's been pretty fun. And it snowed a little bit today when I was out walking. Here's another thing that I didn't know about Libyan desert glass. I don't have any to sell. I don't even know why I'm talking about it. But I brought it back from Tucson. And if there's any interest, I'll pick some up next time. But there's this German. He was like Dutch German. And he sold me this piece. I showed it to you guys before. It's auratized. This is regular Libyan desert glass. Kind of a almost like a citrine kind of color. But anyway, he showed me the pieces, and there's a little bit from being hurled through space, like the meteor has imbued the glass. It's because it's like a gem silica. the little bit of an electromagnetic field. And in certain directions, you can kind of feel a slight resistance, like there's a little bit, like it's kind of pushing away from each other. Just, you can kind of just feel it. And I don't really feel I have another small piece here, but it was really hard to detect with the smaller pieces. But anyway, it was kind of a cool little factoid that I learned about in Tucson. So anyway, I've been carrying that piece around in my pocket. I hope it's sturdy. I mean, these things, it is silica. So it has the same kind of properties as like glass, but also like, tektites, in that it's kind of magical that they are formed through a meteor. Oh, here we are. What's happening here, you might ask? Well, I was admiring these. This is something, I loaded this up onto the website. And when I say I mean Azalea loaded this, because I didn't load it. She loaded it. Oh, hello, my friends. I looked up and I saw that the comments section was full. We have, hello, Donna, my friend. Hello, Nancy. Cindy, hello. Kathy. Kathy says, love the info you always share. Thank you. I like learning. I love learning. So this is a fun stone here. You guys probably know what this is. Did I already say it?
Which one?
This. Did I already say what that is?
I can't see it. You did not say about that yet.
Well, this is ruby. You probably knew that. Oh, my friend Ann. Hey, Ann. So here's how I test them. I have a UV light. The stronger one kind of blasts everything out. You can't really see the color. The more transparent the stone, the brighter the color. So this is pretty opaque. It's not real super clear, but you know what it has going for it? It has a good sparkle. It has a good shine on this direction, and this direction's kind of matte. But they have, they're pretty cool. I love them. The best part, aside from that they're rubies and they're kind of juicy and they remind me of fruit, is that, check this hole. Check out that hole. What? Yeah, exactly. I mean, seriously. You could make the thickest, I bet I could get two. This is fine. I was just looking around. Maybe I bet I could get something even thicker. Even thicker. Well, probably this. Look at this. I bet that could go through there with ease. And let's see the size of that. Yeah, that'll fit. Look at that. Good times. I love that store because, I like a knotted necklace. So these are on the website. We're doing a little differently. We did lot sales, and at the risk of losing people, because I know people like to say lot, like they like to put the lots in the comments. But sometimes there are folks that don't know how to do it. And then we get a lot of emails saying, hey, I don't know how to do it. And now you just go to the website. It's always going to drop some links and put that in there for you. But one thing I will say, it's going to be on the event trunk show page. You just scroll down. You scroll down and you'll see, because we don't know how to get that thing where it shows like the newest stuff first. So you're just going to have to scroll. And that's okay. That's fine. Let me clear some stuff up. So what I have here, these are some of those diamonds. That's my little share. I took the smallest share of those. And the rest are on the site. We sold a couple strands, but I wanted to show people how to use them. That is a good way to do it. So I found this silver. I can't tell if it's fine or whatever. I lost the bag. And before we began today, I thought, hey, Azalea, I'm going to test this, make sure I know what I'm doing. Am I oratized yet, says Anne. Not yet, but I need to be. I want this machine. So that German dude, the Dutch German, had a machine. They send them off, and they use it's always like a precious stone. Like whenever I did glass work, if you were to do what's called fuming, you put a piece, you set it as your torch, and then you have your glass. And if you put a piece of silver, say you have the glass on top of it, and the silver's being baked down here. it fumes whatever's on the glass, and the molecules will stick to that glass. Donna probably knows exactly the what I'm talking about because she does that, I believe. Pat says, I already missed the lot sales, but I will adapt. Well, we do make more money with the lot sales. We do because, it's like that fever of getting it first. But there's also some folks who are like, hey, it's not really fair because my internet's not that fast. And I can't get in there. So, anyway. All right. So let's see what I have done here. I'm going to move this out of the way. So this is, what gauge is this? I feel like this is 26 or 28. I had a bag. Let's see, what's it say? I don't think it's 24, but because 24 is a lot bigger. You know what happens is the bags, I end up taking everything out, and they end up going like this. I know, horrendous. But and you know what? The funny thing is my copper and my brass, that wire is stored really carefully with little tags on it. It's like, okay, what are you thinking about there? Not a lot, apparently. So I just balled up one side. This is kind of hard to see. I'm going to see if I can do this where you can see it. So there's a couple different ways. I cut off probably maybe 1.25 inches. Can you even see that wire? Oh, Ann says, he said it was platinum fumed. Yeah. Well, sounds expensive. I want to try that too, but imagine the cost. I mean, when we bought that gold, because we were fantasizing about doing gold casting, that casting grain, it was like $1,800 for the smallest amount in my palm. I was like, holy cow, you got to kind of want this. So there's a couple different ways. You can leave it on the spool if you don't know how long you want it, but I feel like it, what's the word? It heat sinks into the rest of the roll. And I think it takes longer to ball. So I cut however long that is. And you get a little tool to hold it, and I've got water here to quench it. But it's so small you kind of don't even need it. So I'm just going to show you a couple different ways. So this is going to be the head pin version. This is like the oldest blazer ever. Hopefully I have enough gas or fuel to do this. All right, I don't even think you can see that. I stand it up here. Clear the decks. I have a little room. I don't know if you can see that. All right. I want to see if I can barely see the flame. I'm going to try and aim it. So what you want to do is, there's so much light, it's hard to see the flame. I can kind of see it in the video. Maybe if I turned up the contrast or something. But what you want to do is hold at the tip of the flame. That's the hottest part. Am I holding it in there? I've got to go sideways and look because I can barely see the flame. I don't know if you can. It goes really fast once you get it. There it goes, one side. You see that? It went so fast. There's one side. And then you put a dime. Let me get that, quench it. It sounded like I just ran out of fuel. That was enough to do one. All right, that one will let it sit there because if I have to fish it out of the water, I just dipped it. Let me see if I can get one of these little diamonds. Which one do I want? Some of them are very small. Very small. They're like the size of a seed bead. But you know what? It's interesting is that they are little diamond crystals that have been drilled. A lot of times when you see diamond strands at the bead shows and in bead stores, I'm going to have to put my glasses on. Hold on a second. What you're seeing is diamond chips or little nugs. And while those are pretty cool, they don't have the same sort of look that the crystals have. That one didn't want to fit. I had one that fit on there perfectly a minute ago. Oops. Yeah, it's like as soon as I show it, when I was off camera, like 10 minutes ago when I was testing this, everything was like perfectly done. Oh, this might be the little bit thicker. Let me see. Or maybe it's the same. Sometimes if you cut it, like I cut this with scissors, and it will flatten the tip and it'll make a little burr at the end. And with these diamonds, they're so sensitive as far as like having little itty bitty holes, and you've got to be so patient with them. Oh, hello, Kalite. Oh, Wendy says, I think it was just too much and easier for it to be fair on the website. I did hear people say, I had a lot of people, I mean, they weren't complaining per se, but I did have some folks saying that it would be nice if it were on the website and that they enjoyed it from when we had the TGBE. So that's not fitting. Yeah, of course, when I'm showing it, nothing fits.
I know, right?
It's always the way it goes. That one fit. All right, so here's this. It's on a head pin. Let me see if I have enough juice on this to heat it one more time. Maybe you can get me that little creme brulee torch.
That barely has any fuel in it.
Oh, I need to refuel. All right, well, we can just pretend that I heated this one up. But I didn't. So, let me see, where do I have that little, I want to do a round. Can I have those rosary pliers over there?
You gonna show them alternatives? They don't have a torch.
Oh, if you don't have a torch, that's like the most easy. Okay, so we'll just turn this one into a really pretty, actually I'll put something else on there too while I'm at it. It's such a big amount, I might as well put two things. Maybe I'll put this little thing with it. The smoky quartz. Do I like that? If I like that. Although I like it just to be a little diamond, which is kind of cute. Actually, you know what? I have some of these earrings. I'm going to do this. I bought a bunch of these from Rio. And these have, I don't know if y'all have ever seen these. They're kind of cool. They're called ear threaders. And this is the side you put in, and that's the side that hangs down from your ear. And I'm going to attach this little diamond to the end. Let's see. That'd be pretty. So I'm just going to bend it, and I want to make the loop a little bit larger than usual. So when you're putting these little diamonds on, I would say do not do where it's on kind of a load bearing. And by load bearing, I mean like a chain, and you're depending on the wire to be like this is a dangle. It's not, the whole thing is not, oh, and I didn't notice that it was a split. So that's nice. I don't have to attach it. If I wanted to, I could just open this little split. There's a tiny little split on it. Oh, I want to make this absolutely perfect. This is such easy wire to work with too. And when it is in the torch, what happens sometimes, especially if it goes cherry red. This did not go cherry red. This just went, it just had enough time to ball up that little ball to keep it from going through. But the wire will be even softer if it goes cherry red. That's called annealing. Let me just trim that. Tuck it in. And then one thing that I'd like to do is flatten my, see this part? This is just a little trick I like to do. Flatten it with the side. And it looks like it's hammered. But what that's doing is it's work hardening it. And then I will gently do that to compress the little loops through there. Being careful not to crush my stone. I mean, even if it's a diamond, I know that it's supposed to be like the hardest in the whole wide world, but I would not want that to, you don't want to stress it with pliers. Maybe it is hold up, but why test it? Okay, I'm polishing off the black part with a pro polishing pad. Because this is a bright finish, and this is kind of not a bright finish at the end. All right. Ooh, I'm going to knock my drink down. Oh. So I'm going to try to tighten that. That looks like a little bit of a big gap there that's sitting. Let's close it up a hair. Oh, went too far. Shoot. So I'm going to smash this down so it doesn't move. That's my version of work hardening. And I'll do this side so it doesn't. See, it kind of smashes it a little bit. I want to make sure that but in the process of smashing it, I made a tiny gap, so I'm going to pinch it to make sure it doesn't come out. I didn't notice these were the kind that had an open, or what they call split ring. I didn't notice that. All right, so it looks pretty good. A little tiny little. I think it looks pretty good. You know what? I wonder if this wire is enough where I could put more. If I could put them through this chain. Let's test it and see if that's the case. Yes, yes it is. So that's a cheerful moment for me. Is then I can go through here and dingle dangle, say, I had a whole thing of little teeny briolettes. A better size might be like something like this big. But that's a little too big actually. This gives it the more look of like a little, I don't know what you'd call it, like a perfect little thread of silver. So that's one. I'll do the other one in a minute. All right, so that's the other side of that. Oh, I see where I did not tuck it all the way in. There we go. Oh, hello, Kalite. Hello, my friend. All right. Now, let's just do one where we use it without balling it. Okay, I'm going to measure off. Let's see. Maybe 1.5 inches. Let's get one of those pretty small ones. See if I can get it the first time. And no, they will fit. I mean, I got them on the fine soft flex, so I know that works because I threaded all the ones to be. So that can for sure be on a necklace for that. Let me see. So this is, I think, 26 gauge or 28 gauge. I can't tell. All right, so I got a little diamond on there. I'm going to make this into, this could actually be 2. Let me cut this in half. They do not flick. Right, so what I'm doing is I'm making a tiny little jump ring with a diamond on it. Oh, hello, Robin. Hello, my friend. All right, so there's one side. So the next part of this journey, maybe I should get in there. You know what maybe I'll do is I'll go in a little tighter. If you're looking at this black spot that's not Sharpie, I actually pinched my finger. I know it looks like marker. I pinched my finger in my new selfie stick that I've been carrying around everywhere. Kathy says, I like the simplicity of that earring. Hello, Tucson gals and everyone. Yeah, I do too. I think it looks cute. I'm going to put it on here in a second. I have to do the other one. So this is, I might not have left enough space, but, and I did not. We'll just finish this up just so you can see how it's done. So what I'm doing is basically making a little small, kind of like basically a jump ring. So you turn the ends away from each other. And yeah, I left very little room to do this. It's like, why do I do this to myself when I'm trying to show something? Okay, I have to pin it down one side at a time. All right. I'm going to hold it with this side and then set my tool down here on the edge so I'm not wibble wobbling. Here, sit still, you. Yeah, this is some fiddly work. Don't do what I just did. And when I said, I have plenty of room, don't cut it until after the trimming. I pre-trimmed, so then it's fiddly to do this part. So what I'm doing is I'm wire wrapping each side against itself to close the loop. Okay, so there's one side done. You see how I did that? Closed one side, wrapped it around, and then pull this so you have a little bit of space. And right now it kind of looks a little bit chewed up. Well, that can easily be remedied when I flatten the whole shebang with my pliers. And these little pointy, I don't know what you call bent nose from Zoron, they're so good, perfect for this kind of work. All right, that gets frustrating, that last little bit. If you leave yourself more space than I did, see, I gave myself like 2 millimeters on either side. That's not really that much. If I'd left it on there and then cut it, then it would have been a little bit easier, but I got ahead of myself. So I'm just using the rosary pliers to get the shape back in line to circular. And then once I'm happy with that shape, squeeze it a little bit this way. Then you can take the edge of your pliers and smash it. And this isn't going anywhere. Once it's smashed, it's like, I guess you could pull it apart. But that's what I mean about not making it where it's load bearing. And load bearing, I mean, like as if this was a link in a chain that went around your bracelet and it's like they're connected to each other. I wouldn't do that. I would do this where it is a dangle off of another piece of chain. So that way it's not, because this is pretty secure for a dangle, but it's not good for like supporting a whole necklace. So this is one way that I've done in the past, a way to use those really small diamonds. These are particularly good because they're crystals. So there's that one there. You can just barely see the tiny diamond. Yeah, so what I would do with this is, say you have your necklace. This is at the end. So I make my necklaces where I put the whole thing together, all the links, right? All these links, these wire wraps, these bits here, all of this comes first, right? So after I'm done with that, I then go back in and add the dangles. So you can see there are different gauge of wire even. And this is what I'm talking about. It's not part of the chain here. It's hanging on to a wire loop, and it's a different gauge. So that's like a 26 or 28 gauge. Pat, that's 26. This is probably 26. This, you could add that on there. And then I oxidize it with liver of sulfur to bring out the highlights. This is one way that you can go in there and do that. You could add them all along existing chain or an earring or something. And that way you'll get this little bit of that sugary flash. If you're going to, if you want to use these small diamonds, they're on the website now. And the first thing I made was this little earring at the bottom. And the second thing I made was this little ring. But they're good because it has a good, it's a good crystal. Look at these lights. That light is beaming on my face. Aim it over there. All right. So the next way is, if I didn't run out of juice over here with this lamp, with my little blazer, then you could add another, you could do like a twist with both sides being heated up. So let me see. I took my glasses off. I'm going to take my sweatshirt off. It's getting warm in here. At first I thought, holy smoke, is it going to be difficult to stream today because the wind? Greg and I tried to take a bike ride this morning. And we did take a bike ride, but I was like standing on the pedals and the wind was blasting so hard that I was standing still. And I was putting all my effort into pedaling that bike. And we got about a mile. And then plus there's mud everywhere. And I vacuumed out the car. And I was like, man, shoot, I just dropped that one. Where'd it go? So one thing too is I would say use a contrasting color background so they don't blend in. The white on white is not making it easy to see. I should have done like a dark gray or something so I could really see them. Let me see if this helps. Yeah, you can sit on there. Put those glasses back on. Yeah, so anyway, my gimbal or selfie stick pinches when you close it. It turns out if you leave your fingers in the area where it closes, you can get pinched. And I was like, well, why does it keep biting me? Okay, I'm going to try this one. I wanted to make this, I was looking for one that would match the other side. This one is not the match. Where'd it go? Maybe this is a match to it. It's too small. Oh, you know what? It was painful. It did not feel good. It was very difficult to not want to toss it. All right, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to move on because I'm getting tired of looking at these. So anyway, one of the things that we picked up in Tucson, I showed this last week in a necklace that I was working on. And it is these sunstones. So these are what they call simple cut sunstones. Check out the flash in these guys. They're really jelly-like, almost like a lucite. but tons of rainbow sparkle. See that? So these are on the website. They're very reasonably priced. They are, let's see, what is this called? Oh, these are the prices from last week. Or no, is this Azalea?
I didn't write you in list today.
Oh, okay. Well, how much are these rubies?
The rubies,
These big ones.
like I think 24. I didn't write a price list. I'm sorry.
Well, give me your iPad and let me see. So
They're on the website.
all right. So this is the Sunstone. Check it out. So delightful. Oh, so these are, where is it?
24. I was right. So I don't know. We have
These
to
were
remove
10.
some stuff.
Yeah, there's some that needs to be removed. Just scroll down and see it.
You'll see it if you scroll down just a little bit on this page here.
Okay, so these are 24. These were 10. I got these for a song, and the quality is 100% awesome. And if you guys know how much I am passionate about Sunstone, let me get even closer. Yeah, they're juicy. So some of them, and I went and picked some that were kind of more color saturated and some that were more washed out, which I like because they are behave almost like a neutral. And where are those? Let's see those here. So this is I did this in the airport. So these are them. Pat says, are the hexagon rubies matte or shiny? Guess what? They're both. This side, I feel like, is more matte, even though, as I say that, it's kind of shiny. I was going to say they're kind of matte and shiny because this is really shiny on the faceted side, and they're pretty shiny on this, but they're not as shiny. They're like more of a satin, if that makes any sense. But I think that that's pretty shiny. But there are moments where the edges, like this edge right here I'm seeing, looks to me like there's a very slight edge that's matte finish. And there's a lot of color variation. So you get some that are dark colored like this, and then some that are pale. But they are... Oh, Pat, I don't know if I had any from last week. Oh, wait. You mean those octagons? Those are the same type of stone. I don't have them sitting here. But, yeah, those from last week. If you're talking about the ones that were octagonal shaped, those were definitely like matte and shiny. Like they had the same sort of, like in the top parts, the shiny parts are on top, So there's a lot of color variation. You get like pale pink to dark red. And they're kind of, there are some that are kind of like a little on the more of the earthier color field, but they have a nice shimmer, like an internal shine. And if you strung them this way, you could do that where they're like almost like a coin, or you can go like this way like that, and then come in with another thing like going this direction. The hole is big enough, I think you can get away with that. Or it's kind of like this. What is that called? Disc knotting. So you could probably disc knot those because they are kind of a disc that you'd get that edge of faceting. So those are on the website. They're a really good price. We bought those in a big amount. I bought all that they had, so because I love them. And the same with this. If they had more, I'd have gotten more. I have one more size up. Did you get a chance to string the bigger size? So there's one more larger size. It's paler than this, meaning it's more clear, but the flash in it is like, so the pale ones are kind of like, when I say pale, so here's for next week. It's like this. So it's more like a gummy bear, I guess. And there's like the color is in the flashes. So this is that sunstone, but in a larger size. We'll have that for, I think, Wednesday. It just takes a lot of time to thread these on a strand. And if the strand is graduated, then it takes even longer, because I like to go through and I take everything off and I put them in small piles. So all those smalls are in one pile, all the medium, and then the large. And so they get equally divided between, if I do like a quarter strand, which is this is a quarter strand, or thirds or whatever. So, depending on the length, some things don't have a big strand. Like, for example, these did not have a big strand, but because the strand was only like this long. It was not a very big strand to begin with. But we also put these on the website today. This is the pink moss amethyst. So we get these little rutiles in here. They are a blend of black tourmaline. See, sometimes when it's black tourmaline, you can tell because the rutiles will be straight and thread-like and black. If it's mica, you get flecks that are kind of like flat, like a flake, like a piece of foil. So see that you get a little bit of that rutile. These are really pretty. They're very subtle color, and you get a variety. Some of them are pretty dark, like this one's pretty dark on there. But when you hold it up to the light, let me see if I can get this. Let me see if I can use this side to show the colors throughout. Now these are really pretty to show. Like that one is, it's almost too much light on that. I was trying to show the difference in the color texture. Like this is a more saturated pink than this one's very pale. It's too close when I get in there too close. Let me see how far away is the appropriate amount. Try not to show that blister on my finger because it's grossing me out every time I see it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, these are really beautiful. So this would make like 4 pairs of earrings. So this is the pink moss aquamarine, amethyst. I'm used to saying moss aquamarine, or what is it? Moss aquamarine? What is that? This is moss aquamarine right here. It's a popular stone now, but I feel like that is more that. Wow, that wind. I can hear it right now. I'm glad we got that tree tied up because there's a tree overhanging my studio. And I don't want it to fall on my house, on my studio. Okay, so that's also on the website. This is the pink moss amethyst.
Dang.
I know.
You even slowed down too.
Well, I was trying to read a comment as I was saying it. Carolyn says, did you say the black string in the amethyst is quartz? I think, and from what I've looked up on the internet and my books, I can look it up again, but it's either the black rutiles are tourmaline or mica. And so when I was referring in this, I have these books. Let me see. There's a couple of them that are good. This is one of my favorites. The Encyclopedia of Crystals. And a lot of times I'll go in and check things out. And this has more like, zodiac type thing in it. That's pretty good. But my favorites are the ones where it's more factual. Like this one is Gemstones of the World. And you can sort of figure out by adding tag words like black rutiles or black threads in stones. And there's usually like, if there's this present, then that means it's this, so there's a few clues. So from the clues I picked up, and also I should point out, these are little teardrops. I did not get them on the strand where they're all facing the same direction, but they're all like, different, they go, you can string them in either direction. They're not top drilled. You know what I mean? They're not like, I don't know. All right, so those are also available. These are available. I love these. You know how much I love these. I'll keep whatever it doesn't say. This is some really good quality turquoise from Afghanistan. The guy that sells us this, he's like, we only make a few strands. It's kind of expensive, and it's hard to get because these are big, and they have to be hand carved. So that's why each one's a little bit different. So this is also on the website, on the Trunk Show page. Here's the other variation on that. These are bigger pieces. So these have a little bit more inclusions, you'll see. There's a few more inclusions in this. The color's a little bit different. Yeah, Carolyn says, I guess it also depends on what part of the world they came from. There's a bunch of different little hints, if it's like I was saying before, like if the shape of the flake is more flat, then it's like it's the same way that when you look at the sunstone iolite, that has some really beautiful little glints, the same way they call imperial topaz, or no, not topaz, kyanite. It's the same thing, like this kind of flake. And that happens, like if you look on the side view, it grows in layers. And so those layers, if they're going in different directions, it's like a butterfly's wing, the scales. If you look under magnification, it's a bunch of little tiles that lay flat. And so it's the same with this, these flat areas within the stone that are growing in different, like, I don't know. It's like looking through like fiber optics. Oh, and I think is there any more? Did we do any more on that? Are these ones we made for tonight? I have one more here. So we've had this in the past. This is vertically drilled Herkimer diamond. These have little inclusions in them. They're black. And there seems to be growing in the middle. So what these are crystals that are not faceted. These aren't cut. What they are is drilled. So they grow this way, and they'll drill it through the long part. So you don't often see it this way. I bought the last of what was out because it's one of my favorites. And I use these in my crochet necklaces. These also have a nice large hole, which is important if you're using them on thread. Marion says, does the cut of the stone matter to show its qualities? I would say so, because if you look at the different stones here, I have some. Let me see. So generally speaking, like this is a piece of, what is this? What is obsidian? Okay, it took me a second. So the way this is kind of a not faceted. I don't think it's faceted. I'm looking at it. Maybe it is. Sometimes you can tell by looking to see, because it will usually have. Might as well just bring this whole thing over here. This is one of my treasure boxes. All right. What was that? Oh, one of my things to remind me. So this is how a crystal is like a grown piece, not cut, right? So you can see with the faceting on this, it's a natural facet. It's like the top of a crystal. And here's another crystal that is natural. So it's like the growth of it. So when you have a cut piece, here's a cut piece of crystal that was also auratized on this side. When you have it faceted, it brings out the natural color of the stone. So this is just perfectly clear rock quartz that has been agatized or auratized on one side or fumed. You get this pretty cool color. It's funny. I got this from JTV. They said, hey, you can pick from the vats. They had these giant like trash container looking things that were filled with gemstones. and they let me scoop 5 handfuls and put it in my pocket, that was a good day. So this is one I just drilled myself, and I used water and a tiny drill press. And so this is a natural crystal. So you can see that a natural crystal as opposed to a cut crystal, it's a little bit different. You know, you get more, obviously this is going to be shinier. It's going to have more, it's usually they're cut to show the stone's best qualities. All right, these are some that I cut myself and that need to be cut. Like this one I was getting ready to cut. This is an opal sample, but you know what? I should keep this in water because it has gone from being, I don't know, here's another piece. It kind of broke. Opals can be kind of tricky, I think. You just throw them in this thing. I bet if I put it in here that they'd change. They say not to put opals in water, but look how will it crack? I don't know. Seems like it needs to be moisturized. This I kept in glycerin for a lot of years, and it seems like the colors has retained a little bit better. But let me see. Azalea had some other cut stone we had from last week. I don't see them now. We must have
Which ones?
some of like the rubies and things.
Yeah, I had to ship them.
Oh yeah, so she's shipping a lot of them. I cannot show you more of the ones that were from last week because they're in the process of being shipped. All right, so let's see what else. I feel like that's the last of it. These are the newest things on the collection on our trunk show page if you want to check it out. Some things we have a few more in stock. We didn't put every single thing, I don't think. Some things that's it. Like that's all there is of this. I can only ever find a few hanks of it. And this, I got what I could of this beautiful stone. So some things, you just never know.
There's a couple things that if we sell out of them, we can restock like a couple more.
I would not say deep stock though. None of it is deep stock.
No,
there were only 2 strands available. We bought the 2 strands, so that's it. Once this stuff's gone, it's gone until maybe next year. And the guy that I get it from, he only does the Tucson show. So unless he's like, oh, do you ever go to Afghanistan? And I was like, no, I don't. Maybe someday. So this is what this guy used. This on my necklace. And here's the clasp on it. I show this pretty often because it's right around my neck. But I will say it has a nice big hole and really good colors. This was one that was kind of, I thought maybe it was more flawed, so I kept it for mine. But even with that, like some of them are more perfect. Like some of these on here are really perfect. That one I would consider like really perfect. This one has a more black, but even the ones with black look cool because they're still hand carved and like that. It's still beautiful and unique. Those could be the match. Anyway, that's how I used that on mine, and I have it strung and knotted on a double thick cord. So it looks good. I feel like it looks good with quartz. I matched it up with that. It's like a nice hit of blue in that. So anyway, that's what I have to show today. I have necklaces, and I did not put the clasp. I have this one, and I think I showed this in something. I'm not sure what, but I showed this. Yeah, all of them have a little bit of black. None of them are perfectly smooth. These are more smooth than these, I feel like. And they vary in color. Like, I don't know if you can see that, but this is more green than this one. The color, I feel like, kind of on my screen it flattens it, and you don't see the variation that's present that I can see. There's subtle shifts of color. They're not exactly all the same. And the same with this. These are, like, this one is more green. This one has more, it's like a brighter blue with that black. It's like almost like a butterfly wing, that kind of patterning of black. But they're really unique and beautiful. So we've had, I think this was in the Tucson bundle from last year. I don't remember if it was or not. But yeah, so this is some of our finds from Tucson. And we are still filling orders. Azalea's filling them around the clock. You should see the basket that's going out. It's a huge basket.
There's two.
2 big boxes to go to the post office tomorrow. So that's pretty cool. So if you're waiting on things, know that Azalea is on the job. And if you've gotten a refund for a small amount, like say the amount of shipping after you have, if you have a bunch of packages, that's a refund for shipping overages. We had a couple questions about what the refund was for. So it's
If I
a
combine
shipping
packages, I refund shipping. Because we don't need to keep the $4 to $5 of shipping if I'm going to combine it into another package anyway. So if you get a notification in your email that says that I refunded $4.32, that's because I'm combining all your packages, or at least a couple of them, into one package.
Good job. That's nice of you to do that.
Thanks.
If it were me, I would not do it. I would not be able to keep it straight. But keeping things like that straight's not my best thing. I'm better at sculpting and painting. All right, I'm excited to use these. I have replenished my palette of colors for this year, and I love what I picked. I can't wait to use this. This is what I'm very excited about because I make these treasure necklaces pretty frequently. And I've started to make some that are more lightweight and using smaller stones. So it was kind of a challenge to find stones that were in this size range that were drilled, because a lot of times if you get good drilled stones, they're big and they're usually like this size. This is really hard to find. So I was really happy to find some with such big holes. And I use that throughout, and it looks good. So this is a couple of kits from a long time ago, and also using some of the new stuff. So this is in the bead bundle, this really amazing kyanite that has that kind of pebbly shape. It was good times, good times. So this, I think y'all will be extremely happy with when you get that. We broke that up into small snack sizes for y'all. So those are available right now. And it's on the Trump Show page. All right, I'm going to flip the camera around. Bring it over here and show the people what you have made.
She turned out really big.
All right, my friends. Look at this thing that Azalea's been working on. So cute. It's like the size of your own head.
I know. I found a pattern to make a Hello Kitty. I wanted to knit it instead of crochet, and I didn't know that the pattern, I didn't read the details, and her head is this big.
It looks adorable.
I just finished stitching on her eyes, and now I'm going to make her bow.
Yeah, you need the pink, but it looks perfect, just like how I remember. And it's funny that the ears are conical and not flat triangles. I would imagine them to be flat little triangles.
If you watch the old cartoon, they are like thick. Her ears are thick.
There was a cartoon. I don't remember there being a cartoon.
There's a cartoon from like 1983. And now, like anytime she turns her head, her ears look just like that. They're not
That's
flat.
cute. That is adorable. All right, my friends. That was pretty fun. We put together some little, I should show, and I need to put those things so I don't lose them. Little itty bitty diamonds. Diamond crystals. They're not faceted. They are just drilled. Which I was happy to find that, because you don't usually see that hardly anywhere. All right, my friends. I hope you enjoyed that little segment on stones. I felt like I talked a lot about stones tonight. And you know what we should do? We should get a geologist. I got a geologist friend that I need to have. Maybe ask him 1,000 questions.
Yeah, for real.
And there's a rock club I want to join. There's a local one. So that's pretty, you go out and have adventures and dig up rocks. Although you can do that just about anywhere around here in the creek beds. But nowadays, and I kind of thought about bringing a metal detector to hunt gold. But, because I found a couple streams that there were some big chunks of quartz. And they say whenever there's quartz present, then there's gold. Not always, but I was at a pop-up and this guy was like a geologist, or it came up in conversation that he's a geologist. And that was the first thing I was like, so is it really true? Is that for real? And he's like, usually when you find gold, there'll be quartz present, but it's not, if there's quartz, it doesn't mean there will be gold. But if they're
disappointing.
I know, I was like, wow, okay. He's like, but it is a good indicator. So I was like,
So which is it, bro?
well, he said if there's, so you want to see quartz. There's usually quartz there, but there isn't always gold, of course. So anyway, thank you all for joining us this evening, and we will see you again on Wednesday. We're slowly trickling the strands that we've had requests for smaller sizes, and so we're trying to accommodate. But if there are any that have graduated strands, which there are 5 or 6, ungraduated strands are like freaking unicorns. People, for some reason, they love to graduate them. But anyway, they just take a minute to count out everything and make sure that this one has, enough small, like the amounts are equal. All right, my friends, we will see you Wednesday. So be creative out there, you guys, and we'll see you later.
Bye,
Goodbye, everyone. We love you out there.